Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome to one of the last reviews of the year on one of the weirdest watches of the year. I have spoken about this before a number of times on the channel. I am like a moth to Bulova's flame. There is something about the brand that draws me to it but then repels me again almost as quickly, and I don't even know why. I've never owned any Bulovas in the past when I was younger, no family heirloom pieces, nothing like that. Just a seemingly irresistible urge to keep on buying them. And indeed I bought this one about a month ago now. Now, I've owned a Lunar Pilot and an Aerojet in the past. I would love to own an Accutron, but they are frighteningly expensive. Not so the Computron. A unique looking LED watch based on a 1970s design by the brand, but re-released by Bulova in 2019. These are available in a variety of different colour versions, as you can see here. But the one on my wrist is a more recent release in collaboration with a brand called Decave. Now, Decave are a Web 3.0 company that sells a range of virtual wearables for your avatar to sport in the metaverse. Yeah, look, I get it, but I'm just not personally into all of that metaverse stuff, and I'm sure this looked better 18 months ago than it does today. Perhaps it will look better again in another 18 months' time. Regardless, Bulova launched these two special editions with Decave last year, one of which comes with its own NFT of the watch, so you get a real one and a virtual one. The RRPs are optimistic, shall we say. The online retailer prices, I think, much more realistic, certainly here in Australia. I managed to pick this one up, very lightly used from a mate, for under $200 equivalent. But is it any good, or will I be flipping yet another Bulova in short order? Let's flip the camera and find out. Alright, so the review is not going to take much longer than the intro today. It's a pretty straightforward watch, this one. I will chuck in various bits of outdoor macro and plenty of wrist shots so you can see what it looks like on me with a view to imagining what it looks like on you. Now, believe it or not, I'm a little bit too young to remember LED watches the first time around, but I do enjoy them. I've had a Gerlach Cosmonauta in my collection for a number of years now. I've also reviewed the Yema LED, and earlier on in 2022, I looked at the cheap and very cheerful Armatron Griffey. I quite like this style of watch despite the impracticalities. Now, this one was bought by my mate Mr. Phoenix as full Aussie stock. As such, it comes with a full Aussie warranty. 3 years, bought in August. Now, weird watch, weird set of dimensions. Don't fixate on the diameter dimension today because it's not really reflective of how the watch wears on wrist, this or any other rectangular case watch. So the diameter dimension is 31, only 31 across the middle there. However, 14mm thick at its thickest point. It's a kind of funky wedge shape there. Very 1970s, 40.0 lug to lug, so it does wear compact. Now, lug width, you can take this rubber strap off if you want to, but I'm not sure why you'd want to. Lug width is 18 if you do, and on the supplied rubber strap, it weighs in at 83 grams. It definitely has a little bit of chunk to it, this one. All metal, PVD coated with that black finish here. It's a mineral crystal, 30 meters of water resistance, and a very comfortable, very flexible rubber strap. But as you can see, yeah, it's a bit of a fluff magnet, I'm afraid. Some of that weight coming from a lovely brush finished stainless steel screw on case back here, battery hatch in the middle. I talked about quartz in my year roundup video. Use a coin, open it up, pop in a battery for 50 cents, close it up, and you're good to go for another 2 years, perhaps less if you do go a bit mad pressing the button. So I've kept you waiting long enough, let's press the button. There's a button on the side and a recess pusher on the other side to set it. You press it once and oh my goodness, that is really, really bright. Really bright green there, 1220. Press it again, you have a ticking second. Press it for a third time. You have the date, it is the 30th of the 12th. And press it one more time and it's Fa. Fa. That's actually meant to represent Friday, the day of the week, but I'm not sure why they bothered because it doesn't really look like an FR to me. T2, second time zone as well. So once again, cycling through them, time, ticking second, month and date, day of the week apparently, and a second time zone. Okay, so if you want to set the time, you press the button on the right once to put it into the time mode. You then hold down the button on the left. Now 12:24, I always prefer the style of watch in 24 for some reason. Then you can adjust the hours, the minutes and the seconds. And then back. If you want to adjust the year or the date, you press the date and then you hold down the button on the left. Again, you can see cycling through the years, cycling through the months, cycling through the day of the month. Now, some of these day of the weeks are more awkward than others. Look at that. It kind of looks like a N70. I don't really get it. Forgive the poor resolution. This is from the Bulova instruction manual. Yeah, that Wednesday is particularly awful, isn't it? Maybe they should have just skipped that feature in this module, to be honest. But the poor day of the week representation is kind of forgiven when you get this one in a dark room. The glowing rubber strap and that little strip across the watch, yeah, it's not massively noticeable if I'm being honest. But when I press the button, those LEDs are massively noticeable. To be honest, maybe a little bit too bright. I've been wearing this one overnight. You know, once your eyes have adjusted to a dark room and you wake up groggy and you open them and you press the button on your watch, it's a little bit too much if I'm being honest. Maybe they could have toned down that just a little bit for after dark, but during the day in the sunshine outside, this thing is pretty legible, and it's probably the first LED watch that I've been able to say that about. And that is the watch outside. Perhaps you've noticed over the course of the video, the black case is a real smudge magnet. It attracts fingerprints and grot like few watches that I have seen. You'll need to keep it fresh with a little cloth therefore if you want to keep it in good shape. But it wears all right. I've got a 7-inch wrist for your reference, and it definitely does have a bit of chunk to it thanks to the 80+ gram weight, the 14mm thickness at its widest point, and the fact that the case and case back are both made of stainless steel. And back inside, same shot, and you can see those sticky marks on top of the case and the fluff embedded into the rubber strap already. Nice matched Bulova hardware also coated in black to match the case. It's pretty comfortable on wrist. Obviously, you're either going to end up slightly loose or slightly tight, chances are, because of the nature of the rubber strap, but I got a reasonable fit on this one. But let's go straight to the moans and niggles section. I've already talked about the fluff magnet strap and the fingerprint magnet case. Not all that practical. Only 30 meters of water resistance, this one. And if you want to tell the time, you need both hands to do it. That really does become a bit of a chore if you're not used to wearing this type of watch. The RRP is frankly ridiculous. This is US dollars, by the way, although I don't think anybody's paying RRP for these ones. Certainly not in late 2022 anyway. And then there's a more general question about where a watch like this fits into your collection. I'm going to use the N word. I try not to use it very often. Novelty. This is a bit of a novelty piece. That's okay if you have a big collection and you're buying it knowing that it's going to be a bit of a novelty piece, but I don't think it's a watch that you buy hand on to your children or your grandchildren having worn it every day for 30 years. It's more transient, it's more ephemeral than that. And don't get me wrong, that's fine, but as long as you realise that from the outset, as long as this is the type of watch you buy with both eyes wide open. So there you have it. Fun if you live in the Matrix or just like the looks of this one. Don't pay retail and don't expect a practical everyday watch. That's not what this one is. If you are in the market for a bit of a novelty item for less money than this, do yourself a favour, check out the Armatron Griffey. It is excellent, or just grab a Casio calculator watch instead. Thanks for watching this one. I hope to see you all again in a future video.